Okay, we're getting there. We're almost done. Can move on. All right. So, how do you connect directly with God? How do you play this game? I'm going to share with you my own experience, and I want to just let you know that if this were something that were natural, I guess more people would have done it between 33 AD and 2018 AD, okay? But it's not very natural, especially in the system that I've been observing over the past couple days by talking to people and, you know, interacting with society. Um, okay, so there's no such thing as a coincidence. That's your cardinal rule, okay? If you have a conversation with a stranger and the conversation takes a direction that you share a similarity, both your mind and the stranger's mind are operating, and God is able to understand what's going on in your head as well as what's going on in the stranger's head. And for whatever reason, wherever we naturally, free will based, lead that conversation, any coincidence that's shared is a signal from Him. Okay? Now, look, this is on a big scale, so you have to talk to a lot of people. All right? Some conversations, they're just going to be conversations. They won't really, it really depends on your frame of mind, I guess, going into it. But you always want to go in with a non judgmental frame of mind when engaging someone, okay? You do not want to go in with an agenda like, oh, I want to talk to God, so let me talk to this person. No. When you first interact with someone, you know, it can be as simple as a compliment to them. Hey, that shirt kicks ass. You know, it could be an observation about the situation that both of you are in. Don't be creepy. Some people don't want to talk. Some people are really sick, both mentally as well as physically. Some people are homeless that you'll speak to. Some people are executives at banks. It could be anyone, okay? But it's about flexibility and open-mindedness. Anyway, you're to engage a lot of people. Now, you don't have to go into a busy restaurant and just start talking to every single person there. That's creepy. But you're naturally going to be drawn toward, you know, one or two people, you know, in the room. They're okay to speak to. People naturally want to engage with one another, especially in today's society, because we are starved for it. Anyway, we're thirsty for it. Maybe a better word for it. But so you're sort of actively doing this by being sort of out in society, okay? That's sort of, you know, your base interaction with people. Now, anyone can do that. Some people do that all the time. But to truly keep an open mind and ask yourself, you know, can I be of help to this person, whether it's in a conversational way or whether it's in, you know, a advice sort of way, or not that you want to preach to people. People don't want to be preached to at all. Or maybe it's a, you know, I mean, it could be anything. It just depends on which way the conversation goes. But that's sort of how you want to interact with folks, okay? Now, on top of that, you have to do something charitable. Not write a check to some foundation, some fucking religious dude or girl or whatever. Not some feed the children thing. You have to actively throw your heart and soul into a project to not just sustain someone a little bit longer, but to help them sustain themselves and which gives them dignity. You know, I helped a friend start a business, no big deal. I don't talk about that a lot, but that's what I did. And I threw everything I had into that. And it bought him another year of life. He's dead now. But for whatever reason, going in with that sort of, you know, I want to help this person, truly help this person and give them some dignity. For whatever reason, God smiled on that, okay? And when I felt naturally inclined to engage with people, as I sort of always sort of not an extrovert. I'm introverted, but you know, I don't mind being around new people. I think it's exciting to learn and be curious and find out about other people's lives. Okay, simple. But for whatever reason, that charitable act by throwing everything I had into an equation. I mean, I mean, at the time, you know, I was spending fucking like five figures, like 10 grand in a sitting at the casino. You know, it's sick behavior, but the point is, I was like, instead of throwing it into a slot machine, I should help someone in need. So I did that and spent a sizable amount of my savings on that, plus my time, which was fine. And it got a friend sort of further down the road, but for whatever reason, that mixed with that sort of open-minded, conversational, you know, approach to people and strangers, keeping in, you know, saying, I'm not perfect, I don't know, I'm not here to judge other people, I just want to learn and be curious, you know, led me down, coincidence after meeting person after person after person, to this moment right here. I just followed every single one of them, you know, and I've noticed with other people, when they just do like a pure act, it's fucking rewarded, and you can't go in saying, I didn't even get a reward from it. Fuck that. You're going in to help someone else at all costs. It's probably the best way to say it. You know, to be confident when they're not capable of being confident. You know what I mean? To be that sort of, that rock temporarily for them. A lot of people have been beaten down by society, and you know, to help them sort of like re-engage in a meaningful way with, you know, the way that things work, our society nowadays, that means a lot to the big man upstairs. So, you know, charitable acts, thinking open-mindedly about folks, genuinely caring about others. I know it sounds so weird. It's like, dude, what I call it? Those are the things that get rewarded. And when a coincidence happens, after you engage a stranger, roll with it. See if there's more meaningful coincidences that happen. And as you notice them pop up more and more frequently, big ones, it's like, dude, that's weird. That's God saying, yeah, ping, 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 ping. It's almost like a homing beacon saying, come closer. And when you start to notice them all the time, you're right there. Now, there's one thing I want to say here. You know, I read some girl, she was like, well, I've met this guy and I followed all these coincidences, all these things were happening and it didn't work out. I think because the idea of rapturing or confessing first, cleaning your slate, saying, you know, as you can do your charitable act first or whatever, but you know, going into this system, you have to cleanse out all the bad shit you've ever done. Otherwise, like, you know, God's like, you know, I want to help, but you're not really being honest or truthful with yourself or him. Something about cleaning your slate, I think that's the secret. It's admit to all the bad shit, throw what you've got at, you know, someone else, your choice, truly try to help them in a way that they can sustain themselves, and then keep that open mind. Oh, and then also you have to be in movement, traveling, you know, you don't have to fucking book a flight to Fiji, but you're gonna need to be able to fly somewhere or drive somewhere. It's being in flux. It unlocks your mind, and you start to meet people, and you know, just everyone's friendly. Everyone wants to engage with fellow human beings, especially nowadays. So you're in flux. You know, only book one-way flights. Don't ever book round trip. If you really want to commit yourself to this, disengage from all forms of mass media, all of it. Anything with advertisements, don't engage with it at all. Okay? You want to be in your mind and thinking along, you know, thinking with sort of along the lines of God. You know, your own personal conversations with him. It also helps to be in a heightened emotional state. You know, desperately wanting to help a friend, desperately wanting to pursue love, desperately wanting to solve a meaningful problem. Emotionally connected. I'm all in. God. I'm open-minded with everyone. I'm helping people. I'm keeping active in terms of movement. I'm trusting in you. And you're giving him more, and he's going to be giving you more through these coincidences. Just lead you to this certain path. And I'm telling you, at a certain point, and this happened to me, things just start to look a little different. It's weird. You know, colors seem fuller. This happened to me over brunch. It was awesome. It was like this place in Seattle. It was just like, I looked around, I was like, this is really happening? I was like, this is fucking crazy. It's like I'm exactly in tune with right now, this moment. Not tomorrow, not yesterday. Right here. Totally engaged, open-minded with, you know, these strangers effectively. And it was awesome. You know it. You felt that before when you're sort of like, you feel alive. That new situation, those new surroundings, that kind of stuff. You may have to sacrifice a lot for it. But anyway, as you get closer and closer, you're going to notice that sort of technicolor, for lack of a better word, you know, perception of the world. You're dialed in right now. And that happens more and more until at some point you're thinking about this one, whatever your goal, you know, sort of, you're noticing these coincidences point toward this one thing. And then you have this thought, and then boom, God makes his presence known. That thought you're having right there, your entire paradigm will shift. You're going to think to yourself, I ain't alone right now. Now this took me, this took me about a year to achieve. About a year. I mean, I could say that this has been like a 2-year process, but really about a year. Now, if I knew all this stuff going into it, it would be a different story. Like, dude, you know, I would think so, but I guess it depends on what your mission is. You know, but when he goes, you're like, oh man, I am not alone. We are not alone in this reality. There's something there, that's God. And he trusts you enough because of all your acts, your ways of thinking, your curiosity toward other people. He's like, yep, this person, if I'm going to give, because that's also a coincidence too, when he, you know, speaks to you, I guess, this boom thing, you're thinking about something, and then this huge, it'd be like Noah getting the 10 Commandments, or I guess was it Moses getting the 10 Commandments, or Noah to build the ark. You know what I'm saying? Or like Adam to go and whatever. Adam knew God. God created Adam, for real. Or, you know, Jesus goes into the desert, or whenever he had his mission, or me with that. It's just because these were just righteous people up to that moment. God knew. It's like, look, if I give this person a mission, it's always a guy, which sucks because I hope that girls can do this too. It should be he or she or any, whatever pronoun you want to use, but this is my person. And I know when I give him or whatever this knowledge directly from me, that he or she or whatever will execute on it. Because you'll know God exists. Think about that. Regardless of what society says, regardless, you know for a fact that there's something else out there that digs this certain behavioral set, these practices, such as the 10 Commandments. I'm telling you, my big 10 Commandment problem was thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife. You know, I have to mentally, when I look and I see like a hot woman, I'm like, oh, and I see a ring. Even if she doesn't have a ring, I'm just like, if she looks like she's in a relationship with anyone, I'm like, because he knows. He definitely knows. It's so bad. But yours may be something else. You know, I saw this thing on a serial killer today. I was like, dude, I just couldn't. He just had to do it. Thou shalt not kill. You know, whatever the commandment or mints that you struggle with, just abide by those. I'm telling you. Believe in him. Converse with strangers. Like they say, don't talk to strangers when you're a kid. That may be a reason that people haven't stumbled upon this. Okay? You're in flux. You're sacrificing what you have. You don't care about your, you know, you got to be willing to fucking lose it all. I mean, I'm not saying you have to lose your reputation or whatever, but if you're publicly confessing everything you've ever done wrong, that kind of jeopardizes things, but it's on behalf of God. That's it. So, yeah. You can't buy your way into this. you can't ask a friend this is a personal, it's a personal sort of journey. And I'm telling you, it's a game with God until you're just on the wavelength all day. He's everywhere. He's your ultimate playmate, and it is incredible. It's truly incredible.